Oakville's Edward James Kersey was only 19 when he joined the war effort in 1943. Now 92, Ted has been awarded the rank of Knight in the National Order of the Legion of Honor, France's highest order, created by French Emperor Napoleon.
I just couldn't believe it. And as I said on Sunday as a presentation, I'm just little old Ted Kersey. And, well, I've just been so humbled and moved by it, and realize I represent a lot of other guys that should have it as well.
Kersey was a dispatch motorcycle rider with the Royal Canadian Ordnance Corps. His role was to deliver messages between the front and headquarters. His duties would take him throughout many countries in Europe and leave him relatively vulnerable to German attack.
We were on our own. We were basically unarmed. They issued us with a Sten gun, and we slung that over our shoulder on our back, and we bounced around the cobblestone roads and ended up with a huge bruise in the middle of our back. So we took the butt off the Sten gun and stuffed it in our saddlebags. But we knew as we rode along that we were defenseless. Even if we'd had an armor, which I did later, had a revolver, and I practiced drawing it and this sort of thing. But I knew full well if I was ever running into the Germans, I would never have a chance to draw it. But you've got to put that stuff in the back of your mind and go on and do what you're asked to do.
Kersey, whose father was a veteran of the First World War, was originally refused entry into the Air Force at the age of 18 due to poor vision in his right eye. He would later join the Ordnance Corps and arrive in Normandy about a month after D-Day. Although he would see lots of death and destruction, he managed to stay safe through the war. Although on one particular day, he nearly made a critical error.
There was a tunnel under the Maas River at Antwerp, and when we had Antwerp, I could go through that tunnel and visit our units south of Antwerp, which was very good. And it was fun to get in that tunnel and rev up the old bike. It reverberated beautifully on those walls. But this day I went, the same thing, and there were two Belgium underground guys with rifles at the end, our end of the tunnel. And they managed to tell me that the Germans had taken the other end of the tunnel, and it wouldn't be wise for me to go in.
Kersey also recalls fighting bitter cold, deep mud, and constantly shifting battlefronts.
Sometimes the address I had for the unit was an old address. They'd pushed the enemy further back. Then I had to go on and find their new address. But I was always able to do that. I never brought back a dispatch.
After the war, Kersey would return home and become a United Church of Canada minister. He married and had 5 children. And despite his latest honor, he's remained very humble and retained his sense of humor.
I say, I'm a knight and I don't even know how to ride a horse.
For Halton Insider, I'm James Spaulding.